Okay, good morning to everybody. Good time. If you can hear me and see me, please sign your name on the chat. I like it to be in English. Please sign your name, and it's nice if you tell me also where are you from. So it gives me some confidence that I'm not talking to myself. So, first, I would like to wish everybody a good day and a happy new year. We still are able to send blessing and wishes. It's still January. I hope you are well, and so is your family. And I just can update you that I received my first shot of the vaccine, and I will be okay, looks like, and it's going to be a great new year. We have some interesting product to come. Today, thank you for writing your name. I appreciate your name coming up. Uh, it's good. So I see that people can hear me in different countries, which is great. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to attend this webinar. And I definitely very thankful for the technology that we have, which allows us to communicate pretty effectively. So the next webinar will be a short one, but always in my webinars, we're talking about the science, we're talking about technology, and we definitely talking about applications and how to formulate with that technology. So I'm sure this webinar will be very useful for you, and we will keep our communication channel open. The chat box will be open. You can ask questions at any time. I will be happy to either answer during my presentation or after the presentation. So in general, in the presentation, I will talk about half an hour, 40 minutes, and then I leave time for questions before we seal this presentation. So the chat is open. Thank you for everybody writing the names. And I feel it's time to start. Again, remember that you can ask questions. You can have your comments during the presentation and definitely afterwards. So we are going to talk about MultiSal Asta. It's a new technology. What is the message for you that I would like to present? So the message to you is that today I'm going to show you and give you enough information that will enable you to use a very powerful marine extract called Astaxanthin. It's a difficult to pronounce, so that's why I call the technology only Asta, but it's called Astaxanthin, the biological material. And this material can be used effectively for skincare product, and I will show you how and why it's so effective. So hopefully at the end of this presentation, you will understand the product, the value of the product, um, what kind of applications you can use the product, and what's special about the technology. That's the most important for me. What makes it so special and why it's so valuable for you as formulators of skincare products. So everything will come together in a couple of minutes. Let's start with general marine technology. You know that people used to apply algae and other seaweed for not only for food but also for skincare. So this technology is known for many, many years. The basic formulation is based on taking algae by themselves and apply them on the skin. So this has definitely some value. It's moisturizing, it's soothing the skin. This is possible only if you live next to the ocean or you have access to fresh seaweed, and then you can apply them on the skin and get benefit. But again, the material that is stored inside the algae is not accessible. You can only get the feel of the algae from the outside. Then the other phase of this treatment could be extracting the algae and putting them into kind of a gel or a lotion and then apply them on the skin. So this is the general idea of using marine technology to enhance the appearance and the well-being of the skin. Now, why we focus so much about seaweed? What's the benefit? So let's see first what seaweed is providing to us. Number one, it's a huge amount of mineral salt, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and many others. These salts are essential for enzyme activity, and that's why they have major value when we put them on the skin. The second group of ingredients are vitamins. So the same vitamins A, C, B1, B12, E, K, and D, all these vitamins are available in the seaweed. So we could enjoy them through our application. Another group is the lipids. Well, there are very useful lipids in seaweed, especially the essential fatty omega acids like omega 3, omega 6, and omega 9. All these are essential to rebuild our cell and tissue culture. The fourth group is amino acid, different type of proteins, including proteins that resemble collagen. So all these groups are wonderful materials available in the seaweed, in algae. Algae is part of the seaweed system. And once we can extract them and make them useful, we definitely can benefit of these groups of ingredients. Okay, so what is the typical claim that we could use by applying seaweed extract? Number one, we know from previous studies that it's provide a very good skin protection. Protection from what? From free radicals. Free radicals are causing damage to the skin. And all these ingredients, especially the antioxidant, the vitamins, some of the lipids, are able to scavenger the free radicals, entrap them, and so reduce the damage happening to our body. The ingredients are enabled to renew the skin, renew the different layers, and also to detoxify. In other words, they are able to connect chemically to some toxic material, and then they can be easily washed off from the skin. Some of the material even help for skin toning. Toning is another word for brightening of the skin. Some of the materials have a valuable effect on anti-acne. It's not like the salicylic acid, which is a drug. It's more about soothing the skin, anti-inflammatory, and keeping the skin healthy. Then there are benefits in anti-aging, anything to do with controlling the wrinkles, the fine lines, the color, and giving the moisturization at the level that can be easily utilized by the skin. Some of the ingredients are even claimed that are able to reduce the appearance of cellulite. Okay, but that's very specific. So you can see that seaweed is a fantastic source for multiple claims relating to skincare. So we obviously would like to use this, all of it. Now, we today are going to speak about a specific seaweed, specific algae, I call it, and this is the astaxanthin. Astaxanthin that we use is coming from a single cell algae called Haemotococcus pluvialis. This is the botanical name of this algae. So what's special about this algae? You can get this algae already from different sources. You can get it as a very gluey liquid solution, or you can get it even as a powder system. For food as a supplement, you can get it even as gel beans. So this is all available in the market. Now, to make it more interesting to you, you know that astaxanthin is a very unique material. It has a red color and it belongs to the carotenoid family, the same as carrot, for example. And it's growing in different microalgae, not only the one that we are using here, the Haematococcus pluvialis. This color, the astaxanthin, is making many birds look reddish. The reason that shrimps is red because of astaxanthin. The reason that salmon fish has its unique color, it's also because the fish is eating this type of algae. So you see the astaxanthin is known, we eat it, and why not to use it on the skin? We will talk about why not. We probably would like to use the same benefit on our skin. So let's learn a little bit about the algae, Haematococcus pluvialis, and understand where it's coming from, and also understand what is unique in the way that we are telling our story. So astaxanthin is a green algae. This is how it starts, as a green algae. However, under certain conditions, the algae changes the color, typically under stress. The algae changes the color. In other words, the algae starting to synthesize astaxanthin, the special molecule that we are talking, and it's becoming red. So this is a green algae that under stress turns red. So you understand, if the algae has a mechanism to protect itself and continuously to grow because they are producing the astaxanthin. Astaxanthin is very useful for the survival of the algae. Can we use the same mechanism to help our skin? Let's see if this is really happening. Okay, so harvesting, how do we get the algae? That's one of the interesting story here. You would expect to get the algae from the ocean, like typically people get the algae from the ocean. However, in our case, we get the algae from the desert. This is a picture of the algae farm in the desert of Israel. They're growing the algae in tubes. As you can see, the tubes are full of liquid, the media for growth, which is salty water. And the algae over time changes from green. When it comes back, it's become red. So the algae is coming from the desert. That's the interesting story. How come it's coming from the desert? Why it's growing in the desert? Let's see why. So first of all, you see the algae is growing in red tubes, in green tubes, and over time the color changes because the algae start to produce astaxanthin. That's the beautiful story about our algae. What causes the algae to produce astaxanthin? Several conditions that put some stress on the algae. For example, like lack of nutrients. There is elimination, for example, of nitrogen from the nutrients. The algae start to feel stressed, or increased salinity, adding salt to the water, or excessive sunshine. And the most important value is the cycles of cold at night and hot weather during the day. So by changing a cycle of hot and cold, that's put stress on the algae. As a result, the algae produces astaxanthin to protect, to survive under these stressful conditions. The idea is take the mechanism or the product of the stress from the algae and let's apply it on our skin to protect our skin from stressful conditions. So, what is the technical challenge? It's great, it's beautiful. Why cannot we use it? Or what's preventing us to use it in larger volume and larger numbers on our cosmetic product? The technical challenge. You see here the growth of the algae. You see it's a single cell, green, then green outside but red inside as the stress go on, and eventually we get the red algae. Then the red algae is aging. As it's aging, it's using the material to get oxygen and energy. Eventually, the color changes. Sometimes the color just fade, and sometimes the color changes to another variant. So it's not a consistent, reliable material in terms of color. In general, when we use biomass, any kind of algae, we get the same phenomena. The material, a biological material, easily get oxidized and it starts to degrade. So we are losing the content. As a result of this, the material produces a malodor. I'm sure you're familiar with the stinky odor of rotten biomass. Is changing the color, which is not acceptable for the cosmetic industry. And in order to keep it as much as possible, we need to refrigerate it. And that's another limitation in general. In the lab, growing the algae, you definitely can see how the color changes over time, which means the material is not stable. And it's obvious, it's a living culture. So what this is the science in the beginning to understand Astaxanthin, where it's coming from, what's unique in harvesting it in modern farm in the desert of Israel and in other countries, I think also in Australia. It's coming from the desert, although it's natural in the ocean. It's a sustainable source, of course. It's natural, and there is no any ethical issues resulting from, let's say, abusing workers with low income and so on. So this is the story of the material. What is the solution? So you see that the major problem, if I need to identify it in one word, it's stability. Stability, how to take the algae and freeze it in time so you can store it and use it later on. The solution for this comes from the technology of MultiSal. MultiSal technology is a special technology that using submicron spheres, typically made out of fat, and they encapsulate the ingredient, and then all the tiny beads of salt sphere are re-encapsulated to form a white particle which is totally dry. So this is multisal. Why and what's the benefit of using multisal? Number one, it's stabilizing the astaxanthin. There is no more color. The color is embedded in the tiny beads. And there is no odor because there is no degradation and breakdown of the algae. The encapsulation provides a longer shelf life and very convenient storage. You don't need to store it any longer in a refrigeration or cool conditions. The product, the multisal algae, MultiSal Asta in our case, is totally water-free. There is no preservative in the system, and you don't need to use preservatives because there is no water. It's dry to maybe 99%, maybe 1% of any kind of moisture. Then the powder is very easy to use. You can formulate with this either in water base or water-free base. And if you stay longer, I show you how. It's very compatible in different bases because it doesn't have a charge. So this is the multisal technology, more specifically multisal Asta. So let's recap multisal Asta. This is a technology that is utilizing Hematococcus pluvialis as the red algae into a fine white powder with a diameter of about 20 microns. Very soft powder, and it is all white powder. So this is what we have. What do we want to use it for? This is a very good material, and I show you more data. And definitely you can see more data in the literature about the ability of astaxanthin to protect the skin, to rejuvenate the skin, to repair the skin, and to enhance the appearance of the skin. So this is our model structure. This is the microsphere, and inside you see the tiny bits that are containing the astaxanthin. Because of the outside shell, you don't see any of the color. Because the particles are so small, they also suspend easily, and you cannot see much of the red color even when it's being released. And there is no odor, there is no color, very easy to formulate, long-term storage at room temperature, so great. Let's move on. Once you understand the technology, why you should use MultiSal Astaxanthin. I guess most of you didn't even use it so far. So why? What's the need? So the need comes from the search for better ingredients than we currently have. The number one benefit that outstands anything else is its ability or its strong antioxidant properties. Antioxidant properties are measured by ORAC value. The ORAC value for astaxanthin is over 2.8 million. I guess this by itself does not tell you much. The only thing it tells you it's big. But let's compare it. So you see that it's 6,000 times more than vitamin C. 6,000 times. Remember this number. 800 times more than CoQ10. Okay? And about 550 times more than vitamin E. So you see that astaxanthin is a very strong antioxidant. And antioxidants are very valuable to do what I said before, to retain, to maintain, and to enhance the skin. And it's now encapsulated, so it's stable, not like vitamin C. You remember that vitamin C by itself is not so stable. Derivative of vitamin C may not be useful because the body does not recognize them as vitamin C. Now, if you will ask me why, we can discuss it in the second part after I finish the basic presentation. Number two is the skin benefits. So there is a study that they published, and I give you the reference, in which consumers will use it for 4 weeks, astaxanthin in a lotion, and they found the following features. The moisture retention of the skin significantly increased, elasticity significantly increased, and also the smoothness. So this is all aspects of anti-aging benefit to the skin. At the same time, several observations relating to, first of all, reduce redness. Okay, redness is a sign for inflammation. Redness could come from different reasons. When you have acne, you have redness. When you wear the mask for a long time and your skin is sensitive, you also have redness. So, what we know is the astaxanthin can reduce inflammation on the skin. It also reduces fine lines and wrinkles. So, overall, we can say that it's a protective element, anti-inflammatory benefits, and also anti-aging. So multiple benefits. So the basic question would be, where I can use MultiSal Astaxanthin, like what kind of product I get the best benefit. So here are a few examples. Number one is when you want to protect the skin from the environment, any types of environmental hazardous effect. It could be exposure to sun, photooxidation, or overexposure to sun. So you can use it as part of your sun filter, or you can use it as after sun application. You can use it for daily moisturizing lotion because of its anti-aging and protection from the environment. And you can use it in special conditions when you see redness on the skin. For example, blemishes or acne, stuff like this, when you see redness. Also, after peeling, like surgical, dermatological peeling, you want to soothe the skin. This is the best. Another study shows major effect on the skin. You can see here in terms of moisture building and of course reducing the wrinkles. This is a very specific study. I didn't do it. It's taken from the literature. Other aspect that is more relevant today has to do with wearing the mask. People that wear the mask typically complain about blemishes, redness, the phenomenon is called contact dermatitis. The contact of the mm, mask with the skin can cause irritation, and this is a very good way to use as an anti-rash application. So you see there are multiple ways that you could use MultiSal Astaxanthin. Astaxanthin by itself tested and validated, and the MultiSal is giving you the stability and the confidence to use it. Now I'm going to show you how to formulate with MultiSal Astaxanthin. Stay tuned. This guide formula was prepared by the technical team of Alphatech Science in Bangkok, Thailand. This is an example of a water-free product for use as a treatment to relieve redness, soothe and protect the skin from contact dermatitis. Conditions may occur while wearing the mask for several hours. Here is the formula. We are using only 4 to 5 major ingredients. In phase A, which is the base, it is made out of mineral oil, which can be replaced with a non-comedogenic botanical oil, such as sweet almond oil. In the OGL-CTA is a blend supporting the gelling of the oil. In phase B, we are using isopropyl myristate to suspend the MultiSal Asta. The ratio of isopropyl myristate to MultiSal Asta is about 1 to 5. Phase C, optional, to add an preservative that is compatible and stable in oil. The process. Start with phase B, suspending MultiSal Asta in isopropyl myristate. You can add the MultiSal powder into the liquid or the other way. Mix them together. For large volumes, you can use any kind of propeller mixer. Remember that MultiSal is stable in oil, but swells and breaks down only in presence of water. Mix it until it's homogeneous. Isopropyl myristate is a polar emollient. It is used in cosmetic and topical dermatological preparations where good absorption into the skin is desired. Prepare the base. Heat up the mineral oil to about 80 degrees C. The heat will accelerate the incorporation of the gelling agent. Keep mixing at low shear while slowly adding the gelling agent in small portions until you get the oil gel. Cool down the base to room temperature. When it reached room temperature, you slowly add phase B into A. Continue mixing at low shear until the solution is clear. It is optional to add a preservative while mixing. The oil is ready. It is translucent with light yellow characteristics. The oil is easy to apply on the face and everywhere on the skin. It gives a nice moisturizing, silky, rich and velvety feel. There is no greasy feel as it fast absorbs, leaving no residue. Can be packaged in suitable units to allow the use in small quantities. In a future event, we will present how to use MultiSal Asta in water-based formulations. For more information on the technology MultiSal Asta, as well as other technologies, please visit our website www.salvona.com or contact one of Salvona's approved distributors. For finished product contract manufacturing, please contact Advanced Beauty Lab online or call us at 609 270 9359. Thank you for watching. This information and all this webinar is recorded and will be available on our Salvona YouTube channel, or email me and we can send you the formulation as a video clip that you can watch it again and learn how to use it. But the most important thing that you saw in this formulation is that we started with a powder. Eventually we got into almost a clear golden oil. So there is no color, there is no odor, there is a very nice color that you can get. And the product is almost not oily, so it very much depends on what kind of oil you use as your base. If you use a vegetable oil or mineral oil, it's up to you. And of course, there is implication as to the price that you want the product to cost. But the formulation makes it very easy and nice. Okay, so once you know how to formulate it, we can move on. Okay, we can move on and summarize what we got so far, and I can give you some time to ask me questions of any kind that come to your mind. So the first thing that I've shown you now, MultiSal Asta, is a new tool to deliver the full potency of astaxanthin for the use in skincare product. So this is most important benefit. Number two, you can use MultiSal Asta for daily skincare to provide powerful antioxidant capacity. For what? To rejuvenate, to repair, and maintain a younger appearance. That's clear. Number three, you can use MultiSal Asta because it is stable, it is potent, and it's provide a very elegant solution for multiple purposes. You can use it when you make an anti-aging, anti-inflammatory. Anti-inflammatory is needed for anything like blemish, acne, after sun, post-surgical procedures, skin peeling procedures, exfoliating, and so on. And number four, you see that MultiSal Asta is available as a white, fine powder, very fine. And you can store it for 3 years and still get the full potency of the astaxanthin. So this is the webinar today. More information about the powerful material astaxanthin, you can read the secret antioxidant your skincare routine needs as soon as possible. And this is available online written by dermatologists, board certified dermatologists. And you see here the address. If you are not able to write it down, not a problem. I will be happy to send you the copy of this presentation and read more about the powerful astaxanthin. The technology is always enabling the safe and the confident use to protect it from oxidation, color change, and odor appearance. To conclude, first of all, I want to thank you for listening to me and remind you that our website is open 24/7. You can order samples, including MultiSal Astaxanthin. The samples are free. You can review past webinars. This webinar will be posted in a couple of days. There is already a shorter version of this webinar, 15 minutes only, that you can see. I can send you the link. It's all on our channel, or either my personal channel or Salvona channel on YouTube. If you don't have access to YouTube, we can send you in another way. Just ask. And of course, from the website, you can get access to additional technical and regulatory documents. What's very important to remind you is that, yes, right now we cannot travel, but we still can communicate and we can use the technology. If you go to the website into the Connect and click on my name, and you see my calendar, and you can choose the time that best fits your calendar. Now, because of the fact that we live on different sides of the globe, just send me a message what time you would like to meet, and I will be happy to accommodate you, such as this time. So this is our website. So thank you for your collaboration. Here you see my contact information, and you can follow me on LinkedIn. Almost every day I post a new message. So follow me there. I know that some of you think that LinkedIn is only to find a job, but it's also to develop businesses. YouTube channel, TikTok. Again, I'm sorry that there is another TikTok in China, but the US TikTok, you can see many of my messages, and also in Telegram. Telegram is another channel. I don't know if you're familiar with this. Telegram benefit is I can put the full presentation of this webinar on Telegram, and you can take it from there at any time. So you have just to download the app Telegram. So these are our sources. Okay, this is ending my presentation, and I'm open to listen to your question and comments and try to support any additional information that you would like to know. Feel free to type your question on the chat. Don't worry about spelling mistake. I don't care about them. Just write whatever is in your mind. All the questions that you would like to know. So one of the question is, what is the level of actual astaxanthin? So in the multisal, many people want to know percentage. It's very difficult to qualify. Every batch, as you know, of astaxanthin coming to us has a different criteria. So it's very difficult to quantify the accurate amount of astaxanthin. We typically use between 5 and 10%. 5 is the lowest and 10 is the highest. Otherwise it's difficult to quantify, but I would say between 5 and 10%. The use level, as you could see, of multisal is 2%. If you remember the formula, we use a solvent for the multisal to suspend it at a ratio of 1 to 5. So 5 times more. Maybe you can use less, but you have to try it in your specific formulation. Yes, MultiSal Asta can be used in water-based formula. But today, it's very easy to use it. Let me tell you, very easy to use it. But today the trend is to use water-free product. That's why we focused on a water-free formula. Some of the some of the serums can use MultiSal Asta, of course, it's water-based. Lotions, of course, yes, I don't see any problem to use them at this concentration. Um, yes, what is the inky? Please look at the website. I really cannot remember all this, but the website has, there are not many ingredients in this formula and in this technology, so it's very easy. So I don't know if you have any more questions, but if you don't have questions, I would like to use this opportunity in a few more minutes that we have to enrich a little bit the concept. I mentioned earlier that astaxanthin is 6,000 times more powerful than vitamin C. Why? How? What makes it so powerful? You understand the question? So let's look at the molecule. The molecular structure of astaxanthin is in the following. You see all the conjugated double bonds. This can definitely explain the strong red color and the antioxidant properties. But still, what is interesting about this molecule that makes it such a powerful antioxidant? So let's look at the molecule. You see the linear line, and you see that the two rings are actually in opposite directions. Okay, so in order to understand this, let's look at this model. So this is a model of a membrane, cell membrane. So what you see here is the phospholipids and the lipids themselves. Okay, so this is the structure, the bilayer structure, okay, of two layers, and the fat is inside and the phosphate is on the outside. This is the typical phospholipid. Now, what's interesting to realize is that astaxanthin has the length that really reaches from one side to the other side. So you see here one ring, this ring that you see here belongs to this, and the other ring is the other side of astaxanthin. So what is the benefit? So what if it's happening like this? The benefit is that now we have a free radical scavenger on both sides of the membrane. You see, vitamin C has access only to one side of the membrane. So astaxanthin has the ability to reduce the free radicals from both sides of the membrane. That explains why it's so powerful compared to vitamin C. Okay? So this is one interesting feature that you keep in mind to realize the benefit of this. The other aspect is why and how we reach to stabilize astaxanthin. So this takes us into a different world. So first, let's look at the basic data. So this is stability as a function of time. And you can see here at room temperature 25 and 25 exposed to the light. So you look at this line, you see how the stability decreased significantly to about 60% of the initial within 2 weeks, whether you expose it to light or not. There is a significant decrease. Okay? Of course, if you use it in minus 30, you can stabilize it. But that means that we practically cannot stabilize it at room. So I was asking myself, what should I do and why, when I buy the salmon fish or the shrimp, they still keep the color? So the astaxanthin here is stable. Why, when I isolate it, it decreases so much? So the story is that when the astaxanthin is conjugated with protein or with fat, it stabilizes it. What does it mean from the technology point of view? If we now encapsulate astaxanthin in salsphere, which is fat, we can stabilize it exactly in the same manner that it's stabilized in nature. like in the salmon fish. And then we took the sal spheres and re-encapsulate them into MultiSal. So now you see the logic of how we create a technology. We first get information, then we ask the right question, why in our condition we see one thing, but in nature we see another things. So what is the natural mechanism? And then try to imitate the natural mechanism, because this is the best. So imitating this and putting again into a different capsule, like double encapsulation, this is how we get the stability. So this is the story of how do we increase the stability of astaxanthin. I want you to understand that it's not just encapsulation, it's much more involved in understanding the physiology, the biochemistry relating to the encapsulation. So I told you a story today of, first of all, transforming algae from the ocean to the desert, then extracting the astaxanthin from the algae, encapsulating it, and now it's available to us to use in skincare product. So that's complete our presentation today. I I didn't see any more questions. Maybe I missed it. I don't know. But anyway, if you have any more questions, please feel free. You know that I have multiple channels to connect. You can WeChat, you can WhatsApp, you can use the Viber, the Line, the Telegram, or simple email me at sam@salvona.com, like you see here, and I will be happy to address any issues. And I want to wish you, okay, there is a question about how about if we heat it? Oh, if we heat it, we get even more color. You know, you take the shrimp, for example, and you heat it, then you basically expose the astaxanthin, but you cannot do it for a long time. Then the color will dissipate. But yes, cooking the same. Cooking will break down the natural shell and it will be released. Again, it's limited in activity. I don't see. I don't see. I don't see the questions before. Um, Please ask the questions. If I didn't answer you, please ask them again. Maybe they will come to the last line and I can see them. Otherwise, I don't see any more questions. And I want to wish you a good day and be healthy and happy. Life is too short, and I'm looking forward to our next webinar. The next webinar will be all advertised on our website. We will talk about the magical wash. It's another interesting concept. And in a couple of weeks, we will talk about how to retain the color, and all kinds of formulations. Technologies allow you to encapsulate your own pigments for makeup and for other applications. At the same time, you can encapsulate other ingredients, not just the pigments, but this is a good example. Thank you very much and see you soon. Please visit the website and follow me on the different channels. Have a good day and thank you again for participating. Bye bye.